trees in the backwoods night. Red lights cutting through the pine in flight. Bigfoot stomping with his youngling beard. Whispers of tales that ain't too clear. UFOs buzzing solo through the haze. Howling banshees set the forest ablaze. Jersey devil howls drink rays to the sky. Drunken cryptids party until the morning's night. Yeah. It's showtime, running wild in the moonlight. Stars burn down, watch the freaks all take flight.
To good times.
Raise your glasses to the mysteries divine. It's showtime, let the...
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Drunken Cryptids. I'm Matthew Orton, and I've got a great guest returning today, whatever it is. And yes, I am recording inside because it's 30 degrees outside, and the tavern is cold, and I've not yet put heaters up out there yet to record. So, you get to see my peace lilies that my neighbor sent over a couple months ago, and they're still here. So that's another story for another show. Anyways, guys, we do real quick shout out to blademedia.com. Thank you, Dylan, for all the hard work you've done on the website and everything, man. I appreciate it. Also want to give a shout out to the team behind me. You guys are great. I appreciate all you do, especially Tommy. Man, Tommy's probably the hardest working guy on the team, and he has to put up with me. So that says a lot for Tommy. So thanks, Tommy. I appreciate it. And of course, we do have the Arkansas Cryptid Fest coming up on June 6th of 2026. That's right. We are putting on our own festival. I don't think we talked about that with my guest beforehand, but yeah, we're doing our own festival. Justin and Jay Cryptids the Corner are going to be some of our VIP speakers. Justin's been pushing me for a year and a half to do one, so here we are, is doing it. We have a great lineup of speakers coming in. We have a VIP section. You get dinner with the VIPs. You get to hang out with the VIPs. You get a T-shirt from the VIPs. So you might as well come hang out. Todd Neese is one of the VIP speakers, of course, Cryptids Corn, VIP. Miss Betsy, y'all heard her interview. I have a hard time with their last name, so I just call him Miss Betsy. Michael Cook, Ron Nichols out of Texas. Whole bunch. This is going to be great, you guys. I promise. This is going to be located here in North Little Rock. So the Eventbrite there is there. Check out the Facebook page. Check out my Facebook page, and you'll see all the links for everything going on there. Also, thank you guys for liking and sharing everything. I do appreciate it. And, of course, if you've had an encounter and you want to come, oh, wait, let me back that up. We do have the Patreon, and we have Buy Me a Coffee. So check out what tiers are on there. There's some bonus episodes on the Patreon that you don't hear on the public. So if you want to hear more about some of the Arkansas cryptids, some other fun cryptids, yeah, go ahead and check out the Patreon. But if you've had an encounter and you want to come on the show, email me, drunkencryptids@gmail.com. Follow us on all your social media platforms. Keep liking and sharing. I always feel weird when I say that. Keep sharing, you know what I mean? No, like, share, and subscribe, however they say it. Randy is coming back. So we had a great conversation last time with him, discussing everything that's taking place on the property from get-go all the way through almost at the modern, the current times. He's coming back. There's a lot of paranormal stuff and some new activity happening. And Randy is extremely busy. Man, you play in a band, you do sound for bands. I mean, you travel all over. I mean, you got a great, cool musical life. So, but without further ado, Randy, how you doing, brother?
Oh, hey, I'm doing good.
I saw you were.
What can I tell you?
You were just recently with Zach Wilde, weren't you?
Yep, Zach Wilde.
How is he?
And he's calling his show is called Zach Sabbath. But he played with Ozzy, and he's doing a tribute to Ozzy right now.
Cool as that.
But he's also a guitar player for Pantera, and his band is Black Label Society.
That's my
So,
that's
that
my
was
genre.
maybe a month ago. We did all the production for him. That's the kind of stuff I do. Actually, I'd rather play in the band than do sound. The hardest thing for me is doing sound. Like, I run monitors all the time, sitting on the sidelines and can't play, watching.
I get it.
That's the hardest thing.
I get that. That's my biggest fear for like I push myself when I go and do investigations and research out in the field, and I know that with my injury, my disability, I'm going to get to the point to where I'm going to be sitting on the sidelines while I have teams out there, and just like go, I want to be right there with
Yeah.
them. So I completely relate completely. But you've had some recent activity going on.
Yeah. Um, I got so much I can say, even if I recap from before, but I want to say this here. Yes, Sasquatch, Sasquatch, not squatch. It's flesh and blood. Of course they are. I've never said they weren't because they leave tracks, they leave hair, but they're more than that. They have told me what they're not. I can repeat that later down the road, but okay, I'm real big in the deer hunting thing, but I only do the trophy hunting thing. Of course, yeah, we eat deer. I like venison and all that, but I've shot so many deer, I don't need to shoot something to shoot it.
I get
And
that.
my wife, Terry, doesn't like venison, so it's kind of fun to watch deer and I learn about them, just watching them in my deer stand. So one day, about 4 or 5 days into deer hunting, I got this heated vest that I would try that thing because Minnesota, it could be 10 degrees and I sit in my deer stand dark till dark. I don't get out for nothing. So just sit in there, not moving, you get cold. So I charge my stuff up that night. I always get up at 2 in the morning because I don't want to just get up and go. And I leave for my stand at 4 in the morning because I got to walk quite a ways behind my house to the state land. I got done that morning there. I took my charger thing and laid it on the table, laid my phone charger on the table. Tanner, Terry's son, he had some heated hand warmers, things that you can we're trying them out. He put his charger there. Now, when I'm deer hunting, I don't go to my gifting area. I don't do that. So when we got home that day at 5 in the evening, or a little after 5, Terry's home. I said, "Well, where's my charger at?" Tanner said, "Yeah, where's his at?" She said, "I don't know." I said, "What do you mean you don't know? They were right on the table. You must have moved them." She said, "I didn't touch them." They took my chargers, took Tanner's charger. To this day, they're gone. They're gone. I know what I did. It's not hallucinate and think I put them there. And I'm not a pot smoker or a druggie, so I know what I did.
Yeah.
They're not there. They're gone. I had to finally go buy new chargers for all 3 of them.
That was
They
right.
took my
That was right before you guys were get ready to go deer hunting. You said about 5 a.m.
yeah, you know, I had to charge my stuff up all night that night, my phone and everything. So when I got up and stuff, I plugged it and I laid the chargers on the table. I guess I'm not going to turn my computer on because my cord's not very good for charging. So, yeah, they're gone. We could not find them. I tore this house apart. So did Terry. They're gone.
Now, okay, this is similar to the events that you had earlier where they were coming in and eating ice cream and stuff. Well,
I don't know. They didn't eat the ice cream because it melted all over my table on the left side of the table. And on the right side was a stick on the right side of the table, but it didn't slide over there. I'd have seen a streak.
yeah.
And the table's level. Yeah. So they'd opened up and left it set there.
I wonder if you got like a lot of fae folk up there too with them. I'm not going to lie. The fairies.
I seen one. Yes.
See,
I can tell you about that too.
so my whole theory is to where there's so much activity that goes on properties like your property, other properties. Then you have different types of activity that happens elsewhere. And I'm wondering, well, one of the theories is, are the Fae connected in some way, shape, or form that do work with
Yeah.
Sasquatch or separate entities by themselves? Because if you take like what happens in a poltergeist situation, right, in a house, or better, here, I'll flip around. You take an encounter out in the woods, with the rocks being thrown, the tree knocks, eye shine, eye glowing, movements like that, and you put that into a house, that's a poltergeist. So I'm wondering whether or not what we think are poltergeists are actually just the fae folk.
I did. I don't know. Like, I never give opinion or theories. To me, that's just guessing. So I'm going to just say, I don't know. That's why a lot of people ask me questions. I don't know because I don't know, but I can tell you what they're not and all that stuff. They've told me that. Okay. So that happened. So didn't have no chargers for a couple of days because I'm deer hunting. I'm not going to quit to buy chargers. And finally I did one evening, drove to Bemidji, which is, we're about 40 miles away from the town of Bemidji, go to Walmart and get them. Okay. The next day, I got to go pick the girls up that night from school. I said, Terry, where's my keys? I only have one key fob for my pickup. I need to get a new one. I only have one. I said, where's my keys? She says, I don't know. I said, what the hell? I always hang them up by the refrigerator. There's always a little hook with all our keys. My keys are gone. My key is gone. I cannot find it. I don't put my key in my hunting suit because I got these camouflage bibs. They're orange, but they got the brown leaves and the jacket to go with it. Why would I put my keys in my bibs? I would never do that. And then lose them out in the woods? Okay. So finally I had to take Terry's car and go get the girls. Cannot find those keys. The next day we can't find those keys. That morning, when I go put my hunting outfit on, they were in my pocket of my bibs. Because I said, you guys, I need my keys back. I only have one set of keys. They're in my pocket of my bibs.
That's so weird that they. I mean,
Because they mess with me. I asked them to mess with me. I said, I asked them to come in the house all the time. They hit the house. They leave oily finger streaks in the house. They move things around. I want the interaction. I'm not scared of them.
no, I'm with you
I
on
want,
that one.
I want the, yeah, I want the interaction with them because I'm trying to look more. My goal is to get to the next level with them, whatever that might be. And maybe I never will, but that's my goal. That's why I keep doing what I'm doing.
No, as you should. I mean, it is going to be people, like yourself that are able to finally get down and give the world the scientific, evidence, for, proof of these things.
There will never be scientific evidence as the world wants. Never. Because Sasquatch doesn't want that. Because they've been searching for these things hundreds of years, maybe way more than that, and they never really got nothing. And here's what I'm going to say. Scientists, I know I said a lot of this stuff before. Scientists, every once in a while, they find an unidentified species. Isn't that correct? Maybe a new worm or new butterfly or new something, right? Correct?
Correct. And reptiles. Reptiles are
But
fish,
they
the
were not,
amphibians.
right. But they were never looking for that because they didn't know they existed, correct? They've been searching for Sasquatch for a long, long time and never really got nothing because they never will. They're not some animal hiding behind a tree and they can really camouflage, or the sunlight hits their hair and it camouflage them. That is not even close to being true. Yeah, can they blend in? Of course they can, but that's not why there's no scientific evidence. Yes, they leave hair, they leave tracks. That's circumstantial evidence. That's not evidence like you just seen a tagger. That's evidence. You just seen it. People know that. They don't know about Sasquatch, and the ones that won't believe what I'm going to say is because if they start believing what I'm going to say, which is the truth, all their thoughts have gone out. I guess I'll never get one. I'll never get the proof that I want because most people want to be the next millionaire on Sasquatch or be the next famous person. That's why they're doing what they're doing. And how many dumb people are doing cameras, hitting a tree, all that? They're not hitting a tree. They've never been hitting a tree. That's so stupid. But that's what people call it, tree knocks. No, they're not hitting a tree. Before I get into all that, which I did before, I'm going to tell you, I had another mind speak. People don't know what mind speak is. They telepath to you. One morning, like I'm always in my deer stand at 5 a.m, and I sit there in the dark. A lot of times I can hear deer walk by me or whatever it is, crunch, but I can't see it. But I don't look to try to see it because I don't want to scare anything away. I want them to feel like they're safe. I just sit there and listen to it. I don't move at all. Anyways, about 5:15, all of a sudden, when I get a mind speak, like it overtakes my whole body, it just overwhelms my whole body. I'm sitting there, oh my God. And I don't use the words in my language that I'm going to say, but I'm going to say exactly what they said to me. Here's what they said. We do not want humans to prove us to the world. Humanity is not ready for us. When humanity is ready, we'll prove our own selves to the world. We don't like it and we don't want it, and it'll never happen because there's too many people want to make money off us or be famous. Think about that. That's exactly what's going on. And I wasn't thinking about no Sasquatch when sitting on the woods. It just overwhelmed me, popped in my head. So that's what it is.
It's funny you mention that because I have this conversation a lot. To where if you were to take, let's see here, what have I got around me? I reckon I have nothing Sasquatch around me.
Nothing.
I mean, my hat. That's about it. So, I mean,
Your hat,
you take my hat,
your headphones.
you know,
Yeah.
well, yeah, so I spin my hat around to see I get a little, Sasquatch on there. Well, no, I mean, you put Bigfoot on anything, it'll sell. Because people, I mean, it's the phenomenon is there's a huge craze for it right now.
There is. I agree with you.
And so, to where I understand completely, um, for what they're saying is like, hey, no, we're going to wait. But, what's funny too is that, they mention that now, but if you look at Native Americans and their legends, they were
I was
revealed
just
that
going to say that.
before. They were revealed.
Let
They
me.
had some tribes had a good relationship with them, and some tribes had a bad relationship with
Okay. Let me interrupt you right now. And also, too many people want to kill them. Okay. Now, here's what I want to say. The Native Americans, the Indians, whatever you want to call them, way back when, they lived in harmony with them because they weren't trying to exploit Sasquatch. It was one-on-one. And that's not what happened with humans now. They're trying to exploit them. And that's why they've backed off. And the only ones that are given, I am not a researcher. Yeah, I was at the beginning. I listened to all those shows and all that stuff there because I didn't know no better. It took me a long time to get to where I'm at now, going on 12 years now. What was my point? What the hell? I get on a roll. But yeah,
now the research and they're making
Indians
money
lived
and
in
what
harmony with Sasquatch.
we're trying.
Humans do not now.
Yeah, it's almost like we're trying to exploit them.
It's exactly what I said. Indians or natives, as they say now, did not. They lived in harmony. It was like, what can I say here? Raccoons and whatever, they live in harmony. Other animals, they don't try to kill each other, not trying to explode them. That's a dumb example. But you know what I mean. What I'm trying, my point is, yeah.
I know what you're trying to say. I mean, to where
Yeah.
the research area, that we've been working in, we've released just like a few pictures. The only thing I've released publicly was I did a live show with JD from Trembling with the Spirits, who was down here that we did on the recording. And I pulled up the footage, some of the stuff that we caught. We catch something moving out of the corner. And then on thermal, we were trying to, and it's funny because I can see it. I remember quite well seeing it on thermal. And I remember it seeing peeking at us from behind the tree doing that. On thermal, the video that and I'm trying to get the clip down so we can try and clean it up. You can see it because you hear me state, no, he's right there. He's peeking at us. You can see him peeking at us, and you hear Chris, who's looking through night vision. He says it's right there. I can see it on night vision. And the night vision didn't have a camera to record, just that thermal that we were using. And we're all crowded around behind me looking at it through thermals, and you clearly see it. But on the video itself, it's, yeah. I mean, shoot, I could.
But listen to this here. I don't do none of that stuff. I don't do no thermals. I don't put no cameras out. I don't put no audio recorders out. And look what I'm getting. Why am I getting that? And what's everybody else doing? That's the difference I'm trying to explain to people. Stop trying to get evidence, get them to trust you, and that's evidence for the world. Enough people have that. That's evidence for the world. Everybody will just know.
Yep.
That's what nobody's doing.
Well, we're not trying. For us, when we go out and do it, I'll be honest with you, I'm not trying to put it out there, go, look, we found it. No, the only thing I've done is just share, this is the clip because the property owners, the best way for me to do it was to do it that way. They want to see what we had without me driving, back up there. So I threw up on it. It was like a 30 minute live show that I did. And I put it up live, and it only stays live for so long on YouTube and all that good stuff before, it fades off to obscurity. Yeah. So when we go out, we're looking for the experience and to validate if you want, or to, some people do misidentify cryptids,
Yeah, I know they do. So, of course they do.
Yeah, if we can go somewhere and go, okay, look, no, I mean, the evidence we found is you got bobcat, you got a black bear in the area. This what you're seeing.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah. That
happens lots of times, a lot.
Yep. So I just didn't do stuff like the growl, but the growl that we caught, well, we didn't catch it, but we heard, myself, Jacob, and Ray, the homeowner, the property owner, playing bobcat sounds eerily similar to that. Mm-hmm. To be honest with you, really, really eerily similar to that, except for that night. And, and I told you about that. We're smelling like cat poop. Mm-hmm. Like we stepped in cat poop that night. Same right there. And that's where it just, yeah. And then we got huffed at. So yeah, that was not
See
about
what
that.
you're doing. You're doing the investigation thing. When I live here, and I'm not doing that. I don't even go to nobody's house or places or anything. Somebody call me, Randy. I think I seen one. You come over here. I won't no, because I'm not trying to get evidence, and I don't want to ruin what I got going on here. And I got a lot going on, but
No.
that's why I have a lot going on, because it's so what I'm doing is different than what you guys are doing.
Yeah, definitely. You're
I
doing,
don't have a team. I have a team. My team is me. That's my team.
I would almost
Yeah.
live on your property if I was closer. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. And what I'm trying to put out there is that the truth about Sasquatch, what they're not, and that's what I'm trying to do right now when I'm talking to you. I'm not personally pointing at you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what I'm doing here. Because if you listen to Kawani Laporitis, you never listened to him? He's right on what he says about Sasquatch. He's from Washington. Right on. You have to look him up. He gets into it way deeper than I do. He says stuff too that's like questionable to me, but what I say to people is questionable to them too. So you know what I'm saying? He goes into it deep. He knows more about it than I do.
I get
And there's
that.
a couple other people that Tara from Flash of Beauty. You know what I'm talking about? She says the same thing I'm saying. We don't even know each other. I was saying what I'm saying before I even heard about Flash of Beauty and this Tara person. And she's saying the same thing I'm saying. You know what? I want to just recap what Sasquatch is not. One day I was back in the woods there, and I said, can you guys tell me what you are? And I always say you guys, whether male or female. I just say you guys. And I'm walking back through the woods to go back home. And we live by a power line corridor. Instead of going out to that and walking home, I'm going to walk through the woods. All of a sudden, I get stopped again. I said, oh my God, thanks. And here's what they said. We do not migrate south for the winter. We do not bury our dead on your earth. We do not live in caves. We do not live in a swamp. We don't live deep in the woods. We go to caves. We go in the swamp. We go deep in the woods, but we don't live on your earth as you know it. We're interdimensional, metaphysical. When we're metaphysical, yes, we are flesh and blood because we leave tracks, we leave hair and all that, but we're interdimensional. And the knocking sound you're hearing is not us hitting trees. It's us popping into your dimension and popping out. That's what the knocking sound is.
I could. So my own personal knocking sound encounter that I had in 2002 at Fort Hood was the first knocking sound. My guards heard it. I did not hear it. I was reading a book. I was kind of tuned out, kind of half-assed listening to what they were talking about when they said, "Did you hear that?" And that's when I paused for a minute. I was like, "Hear what?" And they're like, "Well, sound like somebody dropped a canteen half filled with water on the ground and makes a distinct thunk sound." And I was like, okay, and I waited and I heard and waited for a few minutes and I heard a car go down. The hardball, which is about 300-400 meters away from where we were at, hit something so like it echoed back. And I went, "That's what y'all heard?" And like, no. And they were very blunt about it. "No, sorry, that's not what we heard at all." And they stuck to the canteen sound. Fast forward 2 hours later, and when I heard it, and Randy, I'll be damned if it was not. It sounded like a half canteen filled with water making that thunk sound as it hit. And that was the only tree knocker noise that I heard. So other than when we got growled at, as soon as we got growled at up there in Heber, there was a slight little behind us. You know what I mean? So that was, but totally different sound. But that thunk,
That's a different sound,
yeah, that thunk sound though was pretty prominent, and that stands out in part. And at the same time the thunk sound happened, though, this is in August, is when I stepped into a cold spot. It was so cold that I had the flashlight up. I saw my breath. It was just that quick. So,
yeah, all I can say is the only way it would be wrong what they told me if they're lying to me. You know what I'm saying? If they're lying to me, then it's wrong. But this is what they told me. They also told me what the X's are. The X's are boundary markers, not for humans, for other things in like the woods here that we don't know about, for other things we don't know about. And they put X's by my steps in my house, sometimes little ones, maybe that long. little sticks like that there. Sometimes there's 4, sometimes 3, sometimes 1, sometimes none. It's boundary markers. I suppose it's protection markers to keep the weird stuff away from us. I don't know what else it would be on that one. They didn't say protection markers for us. But when they told me the X's are boundary markers, well, why are they putting X's by my steps?
Yeah, they're trying to protect you then. Because
Yeah,
that's
for
been
what
my
the other
theory
word.
too, honestly, with
Yeah.
the X's. Trying to figure out, because it's not on every property, it's not on every encounter, it's not always out there in the
I
woods.
have. If you come to my place there and I walked out, you'd walk out shaking your head in amazement. All the X's I have here, lots of them.
And again, that makes me wonder what we were talking about at the beginning of, the possibility with the Fae folk. Maybe the property that you have is kind of, magical,
Maybe it is. Yeah.
to where if you're having that many encounters with that much mind speak with all the X's that, are markers, and I think they're warning signs. I don't think they need to know how to GPS locate where they're traveling
No.
to. I mean, they know that. You turn the lights off in your house and you could pretty much navigate your house in the dark with no lights on. You really can.
Definitely.
So
They can go inside a camper and take a bunch of Reese's Pieces without opening the door up.
yeah,
You remember that one, don't you?
I do remember that one.
Yeah. I mean, that's come into my house when the door's locked and I got people out in the woods and come back and there's a stick of unwrapped butter stuck on my refrigerator door. How the hell did that happen?
I'm picturing that and trying to figure out what was their thought behind that one, their thought process.
Well, when you buy a block of butter, a pound of butter, it's got 4 sticks in it. I take the book writer, Mike, and some other guys, the SRA, out to the woods. And that's when the one guy and his son seen the Sasquatch. We get back to the house there. Everybody goes to their little tents and do what they're going to do until we resume together. And I come in the house, unlock the door. What the heck? There's an unwrapped stick of butter on my refrigerator door. There's nobody home. Everybody's gone. It's just me here.
So I'm trying to figure out what they were thinking.
Because they're messing with me. They want to see my reaction. They're just having fun.
See,
that's all they're doing.
You
Probably a young one.
Do your own commercial, mess with Randy.
Yeah. So, what else you want me to tell you?
Well,
that's a new thing. Oh, here's another thing. They haven't been taking the peanut butter or the apples or the candy bars. They have not done that.
Have you tried the marshmallows yet?
Last 2 weeks now. But it's not that they migrated south for the winter. It's just that they're not coming here right now. And that's happened sometimes in the summertime too. I'll go 2 weeks or so, nothing is touched. Then all of a sudden it starts again.
Well, I think they migrate, but I don't think they migrate south and north. Yeah. I think it's a territory. They have a territory that they explore and they roam and they go all, you know what I mean?
You're taking them as a regular animal. They're not that when you say that. They're not doing that. They're interdimensional. They're a people and they're in a different dimension that we live in, and whatever they're doing, that part I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
You got to look at it different. You can't look at it like they're an animal and they got a territory. Their territory, they could go to Russia if they wanted to. They're interdimensional.
True.
You got to look at it that way. If you start looking at what I'm saying, even though it's hard to, I understand it's hard to wrap your head around it. I do understand that. And do you live by the woods or you live in town? Or you have a spot in the woods or they've been seen before?
No, I'm in town, but I have Camp Robinson like right beside me. And
so why don't you do what I'm saying? Start gifting them and get them to trust you. Stop doing the evidence thing, trying to get evidence for yourself and see what happens. Do it for 6 months.
That's what they've been doing up at
for yourself.
Well, the spot in Heber, that's what they've been doing. They've been gifting already.
Have they?
In our last investigation when we went up there, and I always say, even the first time I went up there, I was like, hey guys, I'm just here. Just check y'all out, see what's going on. Yes, I'm going to be taking pictures. Yes, I'm going to be doing that. And then when we went back, it was like they knew we were coming, and they've been leaving marshmallows out. So I told you about the marshmallows. Right by where we had left some marshmallows at was a part of a deer spine, vertebrae sitting on a branch.
Yeah, spine. Yeah, I know what you mean. That's what I call it, spine.
Yep. It was about, the branch was that thick and it was about chest level where there's no, right, not in our eye level, but where we would see it at.
It was like in the crotch of a tree?
No, it was on a branch. Up high.
It was on a branch. Okay.
There's no reason at all whatsoever for this vertebrae to be put onto the branch. There's no
there's not.
natural way for that to happen.
There.
Yep. And that was what was to me, I was like, okay, so we're doing something with the marshmallows in. And they had accidentally started gifting marshmallows. So we kept the marshmallow theme going. So whenever I do go up there, I do bring marshmallows. And even when we're done, I tell them thanks, and then we leave.
Yeah, that's the right way. What I have found out at my place, when somebody wants to give me a gift to give to them, it doesn't happen. They never touch it. They don't take it.
That's crazy.
Like, now I've tried the tobacco thing from some Native or Indian friends of mine that said, you got to do this here. It never gets touched, ever.
What about liquor? Have you tried liquor?
I never have. You mean like beer or whiskey?
Well, why not? A little bit.
I
of
never
whiskey.
have tried that. Oh, you know what? I will try that. I will try that.
I mean, there's because I know that. So on the weird cryptid paranormal side, I seen for some reason over the past couple of years have attracted the attention of the Fae folk. So I have a little battle with the Fae folk, and I'll be honest, they're winning. They really, really are winning. So I finally broke down and started gifting here little shots of whiskey and tobacco for things to settle down. Because as soon as I moved into this house, right off the bat, boom, busted a hot water pipe. I mean, right off the bat, I had, as soon as I moved in, I had one hot shower, and then after that, busted water pipe. Had to go through and get all that replaced, and now boom, leaky roof, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So it's been one problem after the other. Now, problems with my Jeep. I mean, just one thing after another, after another, after another, after another. As soon as I moved into here, so I finally gave up. About a month ago. So okay, here's some whiskey. Here's some tobacco. Leave me alone. I'm sorry. And I've ironed the house. I've done everything I possibly can against the Fae. But for some reason, we're just going at it. And I don't know.
What are the Fae things? What are they? I mean, I don't know
Fairies.
nothing about that really.
So the Fae folk are featured
you mean
in
fairy
every...
like Peter Pan?
Okay, so everybody has... Okay, so it's almost like... All right. So the Fae folk are, like Tinkerbell, but they're not Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell is a really sweet, happy-go-lucky fairy who tries to do helpful things and all that good stuff. The Fae folk in real life aren't that way at all whatsoever. I got involved in researching into the Fae because I was really on the fence post, and I started digging in, like I said, right about the time that I was having weird things happen to me in the house, to where I was thinking, okay, poltergeist or ghost or this, and the big key was, drinking coffee out of my coffee cup, and I was outside, and I was on the phone with a friend of mine, Heidi. Shout out Heidi, and she's really into Wicca and all the stuff. And I got down to about that much of my coffee left, and you're outside, it gets cold, so you go to dump your coffee out, right?
Yep.
When I went and did that, the whole cup went. I'm holding the handle, the cup is gone. It bounces off into the yard. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. And she goes, what? And I told her, and she goes, well, that's the Fae. I was like, what do you mean that's the Fae? And she was like, this is what's going on. This is what happens. This is what they do. And I was like, all right, so what do I got to do? And she goes, okay, let's stake everything out. Do iron, go get iron, stake all the corners of the house. And I'm like, okay, I can do that. And she goes, do you want to put one in your vehicle too? And I'm like, all right, I can do that. So, yeah, they're mischievous. You don't ever want to tell them your name. If they offer you something, you don't ever want to take it, because they're going to look at it as, okay, we gave you something. Now we're going to take from you stuff. They have different societies, have different looks about them, just like we do, humans do, but they also live here, and they also live, they have portals. People talk about fairy rings. It's a ring of, mushrooms you'll see out in the woods or in your yard. And what I've been thinking on that token as well with the Fae folk is, we look at, new subdivisions being pushed out through the woods all the time. All the time they're being pushed out there. So these newer subdivisions, now we're having haunted houses in these newer subdivisions. And these are people moving in with it, no ties to nothing, not trying to play with the Ouija boards or stuff like that. Now they're having poltergeist activity, which matches on up. If they moved into and built the house into a Fae area, why not? And on top of that too, looking at the history of some other infamous encounters, i.e. the night siege that took place in northern Ohio. The family had their property. They had no issues with the property until the gas company was coming in to put in a gas line. So what started everything was one of the bulldoze drivers told the property owner, he goes, yeah, there was a weird spot you had over there in the woods. And he described it as a clearing with like 50-gallon barrel size holes in the ground. And he goes, well, what'd you do with it? He goes, I'm paid to plow. I'm not paid to investigate. So he just plowed right through it. Now you look over at Iceland. In Iceland, they will actually go out of their way to build roads and houses away from Fey areas and troll areas. I mean, they will detour the roads, and they still do it to this day. So, that's just kind of a brief little summary on the Fey folk. But I think the Fey folk are everywhere. I really, really, really do. So, yeah. So I have a little war going on with the Fey, and the little bastards are winning.
Well, here's what I seen. Was it last year? Had that Jen and that Jenna, the She Squatcher girls. Well, that Jen sat by my little fire ring, and that Jenna, she wanted to go in one of my deer stands. So here's a deer stand here in an open area with some pine trees, and then maybe 30 yards is a patch of wood. 30, 40 yards is my gifting area. On the other side of that is another deer stand, but not in that patch of wood. So there's a trail on this patch of woods, on this side of the woods, and there's a trail on the other side. So I told her, I'll get you in that stand, and you're going to sit there. Don't be texting. Sit there. Don't make a sound, because maybe you'll see a deer, a bear, or something if you just be quiet. And I'm going to go to the green deer stand, that's what I call it, where the Sasquatch came to me about that far from my face, and I could have poked it. And I'm sitting in there, and about 9 o'clock, it's getting dark out. I get this severe headache back of my neck. It almost making me sick feeling. But it gets about 10 o'clock, and I can see lights in the woods, but they're moving. What the heck? I'm watching it. Oh, Dad, it's over here. Like lights like this, 2 round lights like this. And finally, I couldn't take the headache anymore. So I go over and get Jenna, and I said, I got to get some aspirins. Come on, then we'll get some aspirins, and I'll walk you back to that fire ring. So we go back there, and I asked that Jen, anything happened? She said, oh, yeah, something been buzzing my head about 9 times so far now, what she said. But she didn't say no more. I didn't say no more. And the next day, about 5, I usually go to my gifting area between 5 and 6 o'clock. I'm there. I go every day, whether it's raining, doesn't matter. The weather don't determine if I'm going or not. And I'm down by where my dice Rubik's Cube is at stuff. And I'm looking at it. Yes, stuff's been moved. So I'm removing. I know I take a picture of it and a video of it. Then I move it in a different formation. And all of a sudden I hear a noise. I look up, and one of them fairy things flew right by my head. I'd seen the feet, the legs, the arms, the head flew right by me. It was there and gone. But I seen it. It was in daylight, I watched it, and it wasn't big, maybe 9, 10 inches long is all. It was little. And that's why I say Peter Pan. It was like that.
Yeah. Well,
and so, go ahead. Then I'll
go ahead.
Again. Okay. So I get back to the house there, and I call Jen. I said, you believe in fairies? She says, oh yeah, I do. She said, you see one? I lied to her a little bit. I said, no, I didn't want her to think just because she said that. Oh, here I'm saying it now too. So I looked up what fairies do. And one of the things they like to do is they like to move little things around. Well, what do I got going in the woods? Because I've never said it's Sasquatch moving that stuff around. Because I've never seen the stuff moved around, but it's moved around all the time. And I got something else to tell you about that. But anyways, so I call her back and said, Jen, I lied to you a little bit. I did see one of them. So I seen it. There's my fairy story. I haven't seen nothing since then, but I didn't know nothing about no fairies or anything like that. I never even, it was on my mind.
Yeah. So a lot of people don't. And to where, so a movie came out, by M. Shalmanite's daughter. Excellent movie called The Watchers. And it involves the Fae. And it is, scary. Right there on the edge, of Nephilim and Fae. And when I watched this movie, it blew me. It's on HBO Max right now. I'm like, shout out HBO. But
can you get on Netflix or Prime Audio or not Prime Audio, Prime Video and all that, do you think?
It's not on Prime yet. I know the only place I've been able to see it so far is on HBO Max. Yeah, because I got Prime and I've got Peacock and Paramount and
all that stuff. Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's on HBO Max right now.
Can I learn something off of it? Do you think?
I think. It's one thing I like about the movie too, though, is that normally when, for, Shyamalan Knight's movies, is the plot twist is right at the end of the movie. This one does not happen at the end of the movie. The plot twist happens,
Okay.
the big twist, and then all of a sudden it gets twistier and twistier, and you're just like
Okay.
blown away by it. And she did her research very well into the Nephilim and into the Fae folk about it. And there's one scene where you see the hand come out and it's got 6 fingers.
Oh my God. I guess I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of times on the back of our garage or that trailer house we used to have, there's 7 finger streaks. 7. It's not, yes.
No.
I thought maybe they were going like this year. Now, Mike the book writer has seen it. I have to see if I got pictures of the 7. I might have.
Okay, yeah.
You can see 7 finger streaks. If I do, I'll send it to you.
Okay.
But anyways, was it last year? Russ from St. Cloud, Minnesota area. He's got a little team called Searching for Sasquatch or something like that. He's at my place and he asked me, can I wear this audio recorder? I said, yeah, I don't care. So we're back by my gifting area. And here's what I say. Because he's looking at stuff that he's seen my picture from the day before and how it was all moved. I said, I don't know what's moving this stuff, but I'm assuming it's Sasquatch because that's all I've ever seen. And then he talks about it a little bit. And we do our walking around, all that we get back. He sits down, listens to the recording, and he hears me say, I don't know what's moving this stuff, but I'm assuming it's Sasquatch. That's all I've ever seen. My daughter, in a rough voice like that. Our ears did not hear it. The recorder picked it up.
Wow.
I know. So,
wow.
I know. I don't know what it is, but I don't know what it is.
Randy, I have so want to come up and hang it on your property. I really do. I mean,
and here's another thing. When I have people coming to my place that I'll let, I'll see in the woods. If I know they're going to come here a week or 2 weeks before that, when we have it planned, I'll say in the woods, hey, you guys, I got some friends coming here. I want you to scare the hell out of them. Give them some action. Scare them. It happens every time to everybody. I don't let nobody camp together. It's always separate spots. And I never stay there with them. If I'm going to be out in the woods with them, maybe till midnight, I might fire in. Because when stuff happens to the different people, it's when I'm not with them. Now, they've been seen 42 times at my place by 28 different people. I've never seen them in the nighttime. I always see them in the daytime in the open, not like a glimpse of a shoulder. I see them in flesh, blood, stand there. We look at each other. Like that one I seen it like that close to my face. I got it poked in the cheek, and I watch it disappear. A step in the open, and poof, gone. Didn't jump in a tree. It didn't crouch down. It disappeared.
So that was the eye
because there was no
had.
trees that camouflage at that point. It was in the open. If you get to come to my place, I'll show you I'll show you all that stuff when I'm talking about it. You'll see it.
I am in. Because the way you talk about the disappearing, like the eye shine that we had at night, we watched it. I mean, it goes straight boom, boom, and would drop so low. Again, I was maybe 7 feet from the furthest from it. I mean, no further than 7 feet. So between 5 and 7 feet is where I was at. It's nighttime, hard to tell, but I was close.
Mm-hmm.
Gone. I was there in a matter of like 2 seconds. Nothing rustled off. Nothing was running down. Nothing was running through the woods. Nothing was breaking branches. It was just gone.
Gone. Yeah, that's what they can do. Yeah, can they be behind a bunch of bushes you don't really see them? Of course. That's the flesh and blood part of it. But they're more than that. That's what I keep trying to say. They are flesh and blood, but they're more than that. That's what they are. I mean, they didn't tell me what they are. They told me what they're not. I'll put it that way. I don't know what they really are. That part, I don't know that.
Yeah, because I wonder, some, the mind speak and such that we're getting, well, that you're receiving, I've never had mind speak. But, if it isn't correlated to some way, shape, or form that does involve the Fae folk or involve other type of cryptids out there as well. But I do believe that I'm with you in my theory, same way with the X's, of a territorial marker of that's their area, stay away kind of thing. And it's not for us,
for
obviously.
the other thing to stay away. And I don't know what the teepees mean. I got teepees out there too. They have not told me what the teepees mean. They haven't told me what the A's mean. Sometimes they'll make an A, and you should see it. It's perfect. And here's another thing. Sometimes they take the structure away, but the sticks are not there that they made the structure with. They're not there. They're totally gone.
They take everything. They take the
Yeah, take care of it. And one time they took one away, and I couldn't find the sticks, but I said, I'm going to try to, I don't make structures, but I said, I'm going to try to recreate what they did. I couldn't do it. I could not do it. And because the main trees were still there. I couldn't get it there to balance like they did. And now behind the house here, there's an X there. It's been there all summer. We've had some big winds and all that. It's still there. It's in a trail that's about 12 feet wide. It's in the middle of the trail like this there. It's still there.
Crazy.
It's never got blown down unless it has, and they keep putting it up. That part I don't know. But I'm not taking pictures of the structures anymore. I know when they're real. I know what's wind blowing and not wind blowing. You can tell. I don't need to go up there and lift them up and all that stuff anymore.
Yeah,
I used to.
Yeah, the only thing I look at when it comes to the X's out there that I see are some of the structures is I look at the base. I want to see what the base looks like, and then I'm going to look around and see where it came from and see if there's something similar close to what happened. You know, for example, like when I was with Jason Kinsey and we did, which episode came up, by the way, episode number 17. It's on Fawsom, FAWESOM. Me and Jason talked, and we had the camera on me, but it didn't come out well enough for us to put on the show.
Mm-hmm.
What had me looking was when we were coming into the area that night, me and Todd Neese heard movement right below us, big movement. And because we were walking down to this area. We're pausing, we're looking over the edge, we're looking, and it looked just like something had been there. It's just that vibe, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? You just get that.
Yep, it makes sense.
Something there. And we were like, okay, we're probably going to have activity tonight. And we're like, oh, no, we're excited. Let's have some activity. Well, when we were spread up on a line and we were looking down, the slope, the ridge line into the thick trees, at my feet was this weird branch. It was, I can't show you. It was probably a good, 3.5, maybe 4 feet, but, good thick branch, right? And I was going, okay, it was odd. It was just sitting there. So to me, it was odd. So I'm looking to see whether it was a branch had fallen off a tree, and that's what we heard as we were coming down. So I'm looking at the trees. I'm trying to match up the coloration, everything around. Can't do it. I was like, man, all right, well, maybe this is what we heard. Something got thrown or something got dropped. This is a big branch. So I turned, and in my head, I was going to grab Todd. So as I turned to go get Todd, I took 2 steps on the rocks. And something come rushing up behind me. And it was huge. And it was almost like a kind of sound. And as I whipped around the flashlight, my first thought was, well, Todd's walking up behind me. And then, no, because Todd's now over to my left. And I whipped around with my flashlight. Nothing was there. Nothing was up. Nothing was down. And it was, again, just gone. And it wasn't like a raccoon or an armadillo. I know what those sound like, or a skunk. I know what those sound like when they're going through. It's a smaller sound. This was huge. Mm-hmm. And my mind was, okay, it's right here. My mind was, let me grab Todd and just look at this branch and see maybe this is what we heard. When all of a sudden just come rushing up right behind me.
Yeah, that's a good one. So I forgot to tell you, 2 weeks ago, me and another guy, I decided he wanted to come back there, and we're going to look at some deer signs and all that. And so we're walking. We came across cougar tracks. You can tell when it's a cougar track because there's no claws, because they retract their claws. A cat does. And it wasn't a bobcat, because I've been seeing cougar here with the long tail. Bobcat got the short tail. So we seen that. And then we come across Sasquatch tracks. They were about 6 to 7 feet between each step in line, and they're about that long. They were wide in front and narrow in the back. It was Sasquatch tracks. There's been no humans out there. No human is going to do that. And guess what? There were 6 tracks. They started at nothing, and they ended at nothing. They started, and they ended. There was a little bit of dusting of snow. Wasn't enough snow to blow any, but I don't take a picture of them because I'm not trying to get evidence anymore. And I don't want to, this might sound dumb, but maybe they're testing me. I don't know if they're doing that or not to see if I will try to get evidence. So I don't take a picture of them. Yeah. Did I want to? Yeah. But I don't want to ruin what I got going on. So I didn't take a picture of them. And then we got back across the beaver dam into the cedar swamp, and there was about 15 trees that were broke over like this, whoop, like this here, all around in a good 20-foot circle. There were green trees. There was no wind or nothing like that. And there was different birch sticks, and these are popple trees, upside down and wise like this, all over like this here. There was place there. I don't know what that means, but it was, and there was no tracks.
Yeah,
They
that's the
don't have
weird
to leave
part.
tracks to do what they do.
Apparently not. I mean,
No, they don't have to.
that's what I
They
love
don't have
about
to, and they can be right by you and you don't see them. Right by you. There's been a couple of times I've been back in the woods here. I'll be standing there waiting for. I have a lot of energy, as you can tell, waiting for people to catch up to me. And that close to my face, a tree gets pushed over, just almost hits my nose. What the heck? And there's no wind or nothing. I mean, it's a nice day out. This is not in the wintertime. It's happened several times now.
it. Just
So
fell.
now when it happens, the second time it happened, I said, "Well, you guys almost got me there." I just talked to them. When I first started talking out in the woods, I felt like an ass talking in the woods with a tree. And I was hoping, hope nobody hears me. This is dumb. I felt really dumb doing it, but it works.
Whatever you're doing is working. I'll tell you that right
Yeah,
now.
whatever
So I
I'm
mean,
doing.
you're doing right, and whatever you're not doing is working as well.
That's what I'm trying to say. Whatever I'm not doing is working for me in my interaction.
Yeah, and to be honest with you,
Working for
there's
me.
nothing wrong with that. And one thing I've learned throughout the years of being involved with the community is you're going to have, no matter what, all the naysayers, all the you're full of craps, all the you're BSing me.
I know it.
And I'm sure you know it as well.
I do.
And it was funny is to be honest with you, to where it was in all the the cryptid community is one thing, and then you have the paranormal community, they're cutthroat, and then you have the UFO community, and they are even more cutthroat.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
And it's and I wonder the reason why and part of, like you said too, the beginning is because everybody wants to be the next one who has it. Everybody wants to be the next one who does this.
Right.
I am in this for the thrill of it, if that makes sense. To where
makes sense. Yeah.
I love being in the woods. I love going on ghost hunts. I love doing all of that stuff. I have been since I was a kid. So I'm going to continue to do so. I don't have a TV contract. Now, granted, it was cool to be on Searching for Sasquatch. That was a lot of fun. To get because I love to hear other people's theories and their other thoughts and their encounters. And what happened to one person, up in Minnesota, for example, could be happening to somebody all the way down in Florida or somebody all the way out in New Mexico. So there's correlation, and the only way we're going to figure this out is if we stop and go, okay, cool. I saw it disappear. Okay, I did not see it disappear. Okay, so let's talk about that. Well, it's mind speaking to me. I'm not getting a mind speak. So what are you hearing? And we take what we're in everything we got put together to where I'm in both camps, if that makes sense. I'm in the flesh and blood. I'm in the interdimensional. I'm right there in the middle going, yes, because it's not happening to me.
Right. And here's my point on that there. Maybe I did this to you last time, but I'll do it again. Just so if you got a new audience. What did you do yesterday? Tell me something you did yesterday. Anything.
I picked my little boy up from school.
Well, wait, how do I know that? I didn't see you do that. How do I know you're not making that up? My point is, just because somebody has not experienced what I am experiencing doesn't mean I'm full of crap and I'm BSing, because I'm not. That's my point.
Yep.
Well, then that's a good one to put it.
That's a great way to put it. So, Old Bart's here in North Little Rock. It's a barbecue place, and they're tied in with the Diamond Bear Brewery. And Bart is a great guy. I mean, he's opened his door up to me graciously, loves the show. If I need to record inside, if I want to do what I need to do, I mean, he's like, you come down here, you can record, do whatever you want to do. I'm president of the Steelers fan club here, so we have our watch parties down there. So, but, as I've told him too, though, so many times that, well, there's a bear. Here's the cool part. There's a stuffed bear, a black bear, average size black bear in Arkansas, right by the door. And the eyes are this far apart. Okay. And they're small.
Yep.
The eyes that me and Chris saw were this far apart,
Yeah,
and they were huge.
that's the eyes I see too.
You know, it was huge.
Yeah.
And as I tell everybody, is I was fascinated with the eyes watching it. When it dropped down and I started walking towards it, it blinked. And when
Did it?
when it blinked, I'm not gonna lie to you. That's when I went, "Oh crap! Okay, you're real." I'm not. I did. I took a step back, but
Yeah.
then you know, what I mean, that's when I started getting closer. When I took a step back to you know, yeah, figure out what it was. But yeah, that
So
was
you've seen the eye shine without shining, like when you shine a flash on a deer, they glow, otherwise you don't see them. But you've seen it without shining a flashlight
no. I
on
had
it.
a flashlight, so because Chris called it first, so Chris saw it first.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was on Chris's left, he was on my right, and same area where we had the knuckle track at, same area where we had the vertebrae at, same area we got
Mm-hmm.
growled at, same area that we smelt the cat poop at, like a hot area, same area that we caught something on our trail cam. So when Chris calls out, he goes, "I have eye shine." We'd already seen an armadillo. We've seen plenty of rabbits down there. I mean, there's a whole bunch of wildlife. Eye shine. So I'm expecting another rabbit or an armadillo. No. I go, "Where?" And because I was using, had a red light on my headlamp, and I stepped over closer towards him, brought my light up, and as soon as I did, boom! I mean, it was bright, and it was right there, and I was like, "That's not a rabbit. That's not a deer." I mean, it was forward facing. It was huge, and there was no like when it was moving, like when you're walking, or it was just a flow, steady flow from left to right, and then it dropped down. And I was like, okay. And when it dropped down, as I was getting closer to it, that's when it blinked. And I was like, okay. And it wasn't like a disappear blink. It was, you could tell it blinked.
You
It was
blinked, yeah.
it was the coolest thing in the world, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I've seen that eye. I won't call it eye shine. I've seen it without the light on it, just in
See,
the woods.
now Todd Neese has done that too. He's seen it without it as well. He said it was pitch black and boom, there they were.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I wouldn't know
You,
how I'd react to that one.
did I tell you about when the guitar player? We had a trailer house in our yard, and he's seen its first Sasquatch, but he didn't call it that. Did I tell you that one?
I can't recall. Go
We had a
ahead.
trailer house in our yard, so when we get off the road there, and our band was played like Wyoming, Nevada, Arizona. Those guys might be from Florida, wherever they're from, real road musician guys. Well, they can't go home. So we had to have a place for them to stay. So we got this trailer house. It was nice. It was my uncle's old hunting shack. It was a 12 by 60 and had a regular roof on it and all that. So it was nice inside. We didn't have electric to it. So I buried 3 extension cords for my house to give them electric for lights and a fan, whatever. And he always, typical musician, wouldn't go to bed till 4 or 5 in the morning. He was sitting on the picnic table out there. And this is what he told me the next day. He got scared. He said, "Randy, something went through your yard. It had red glowing eyes. It was massively huge, and it sounded like the Tasmanian devil." He said, "I'll never sit out there again like that." And I thought he was joking with me, making fun of what's going on here. This is a few years ago, maybe 7, 8 years ago. So we're on the road again. We come back. We're off for a month. Everybody's gone. About 4 in the morning, me and Terry woke up to 2 things walking through our yard and talking, kind of doing this here. What the heck? We get up and look, but our yard light's not working, so we can't see. So I tell Jim, the head of the SRA at the time, what we heard. He said, "Randy, go to the Sierra Sounds." I never knew nothing about no Sierra Sounds. Is that what you heard? To a T. It's exactly what we heard. So that's what Chris heard too at that time. And it came from the west, went right through our yard, going towards the river.
See,
I haven't heard that since. That was only one time.
that's crazy. I mean, the only sound that I've heard is, the growl that we had. And then it was a huffing sound. It was a kind of sound.
We've heard that, yeah.
Yeah. And I was just like, and again, I was like telling everybody with me, I was like going, we all heard that, right? In the Sierra
Was that a
Sounds,
bear huffing?
no,
Bear's huff.
that was not
No,
a
it
bear
wasn't.
huff. That was not a bear huff.
Not a bear.
That was
Not
not
a bear huff.
that
Yeah.
was okay. What was unique about that experience too, though, with the huffing was because I didn't do a good enough job. It was a grunt. It was like kind of loud.
Oh,
And when it happened, I heard both of them to the right. Now, Jacob and Ray heard it go one right and then, one left and then right. Because they did this.
I lost you.
And I just went, I heard it come from the right. Now, I have horrible hearing.
Oh, you're froze up.
So I have to write that off as horrible hearing. But to me, what made that, that encounter unique was the fact that those two heard it, left and right. And I heard it right. If that makes sense. Did I lose you? All right, everybody. Well, unfortunately, we lost Randy. Kind of funny how when we're talking about these things, on how these things work, to where, well, I say work is a bad word, but when we get into deep conversations, start breaking things down, to where sometimes we have these really weird technical difficulties and problems. So yeah, we will have Randy back at another time once we get everything figured out. I do want to say thank you guys for listening and tuning in. Please continue to like and share. I have no idea what's going on. You listen to the show long enough, you obviously know that I do this, raw and unfiltered and unscripted. So please continue to like and share. Please send us your encounters. We'd love to get you on the show. Yeah, be prepared for an update on Randy, and we'll let you guys know on that one. So until next time, man, here's the Missing Good Beers.
I can do anything that I want. I can do anything that I want now. I can do anything that I want. Hey, hey, if it is to be, that it's up to me. I'm headed to the front. I can be anything that I want. I can be anything.